The 7 deadly sins of personal branding. The first one is no differentiation. If you have no differentiation, if you don't stand out, if there isn't something unique about you that you can tout, then you are definitely committing a big deadly sin of personal branding. About 3 or 4 years ago, I was on the phone with a couple, and the wife said to me, "Tanya, I feel like I'm already well branded in my community. When I walk into a restaurant, everybody knows, hey, that's Sherry the realtor." And I said to her, you know, Sherry, that's a great start. However, let me challenge your thought process. Let's say I walk into that restaurant and I see Sherry the realtor, but I also see Michael the realtor or Susan the realtor. And now who do I choose, right? Who am I most likely to remember long after I leave that restaurant? And most especially for something that is unique to them and perhaps meaningful to me as their potential ideal customer. So again, you know, the quote that we have, great branding isn't about being known for your profession. It's about being known for being different in your profession. And if I could say if any one of these sins is perhaps the biggest, it would be this one. No differentiation means you are in that sea of sameness. So you really got to look deep inside yourself. And there could be a lot of ways we differentiate you when it comes down to your brand, but you've got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, as the old country song goes. So Michael, I'll let you take that next one.
Absolutely. No focus. That's a very big one. And the interesting thing about no focus is a lot of times it can be different than, we're not talking about not focusing on tasks that you need to do. We're talking about no focus when it comes to your ideal customer. And what we teach in our program and what Tanya taught me is that if you don't have focus in the people that you're looking to do business with, then you're going to try to be everything to all people. And that, as she says, is the best way to help yourself right out of business. And so I'm sure that people on this program and people that will be watching this in the future, we've all made business mistakes. There's been clients that we've worked with in the past. We think, oh, I'm not going to go down that road again. Or there's been business mistakes that we've made. And one of the biggest is absolutely trying to please everybody or trying to be everything to everybody. So the most important thing that we can do in differentiating ourselves and then adding the overcoming the fact that we don't have focus is you need to visualize your ideal customer, and then you need to put parameters upon that, and then you need to go after that ideal customer. And the reason why is when you start to focus on what you're doing, then you're going to start attracting people that need that same service. And a couple of things happen when that happens. Number one, you become super good at what you do. So it becomes natural to you and second nature to you. As an auctioneer, I can tell you, I've been doing it so long, there's literally been times I've sent texts while I'm being an auctioneer. Now, the reason why, I don't do this as a practice, don't get me wrong, but the reason why I'm able to do that is because I have been an auctioneer for so long and I have worked with the same people for so long that I know what to expect in any given time. And there's surprises, obviously, but most of the time I know what to expect. It's the same for you guys in your business. You begin to know what to expect in the landscape of what you do. Then also the second most important thing is you begin to bring in people that need that service. And because they're seeking out that particular service or that niche of the service of real estate, now you're working with your people. And that's very important, because when you start working with your people, then you've got a lot less stress during your day. You've got a lot more focus in your day, and your day tends to be very enjoyable no matter how hectic that it is. So one of the deadly sins to stay away from is no focus at all. You don't want to try to serve everybody. In the end, nobody will get served.
Perfect point. Thank you, Michael. All right. The third one is no authenticity. Okay. People, we always like to say people want to see behind the scenes. They want to know the story behind the face. So authenticity really has a lot to do with Are you the same person at home that you are in front of your clients? Are you being true to yourself? Are you presenting your best self to your clients and presenting the benefits you can bring to them in a very authentic way? So, a lot of times people come to us and they say, okay, I'm kind of an introvert here, or at least I'm not like a big game face, is one of the types of brand faces that we talk about in the book. But they say to us, I'm a little bit afraid to put myself out there. I really don't want to be perceived as arrogant or egotistical. And then when we calm those fears, when we tell them that's really not what this is about. This is not about saying, I'm going to put my photo on every billboard out there. Look at me, look at me. This is about, here are the benefits I can bring to the table. Here's how I help you and how it makes your life better. And it's really showcasing your own attributes, experiences, and expertise that you can bring to the table to help somebody else. And when you do that, you become, it becomes so real, and people do pick up on that. And one of the things we talk about a lot is, being a memorable person. It's very important to be the most memorable person in the room, but we believe it's even more important to be the most memorable person when you leave the room. And one of the ways to achieve that is to really be authentic to yourself and to your brand. You have to walk out the door each day knowing what really makes you different and special. And if you can do that and present that in such a way that it comes across authentically, approachable, and in a way that your ideal customer finds meaningful, there's nothing that will beat that.
I'm going to do something you'll rarely witness, especially on video. And I'm going to deviate from Tanya for a second, because I believe this next one is the deadliest sin. No consistency, folks. I can't tell you how important it is to be consistent. You have to be consistent. If you don't hear anything else, in my opinion, be consistent. You must be consistent as I'm telling you to be consistent. This is the most important thing in my business repertoire outside of the point of differentiation, because you cannot. I was telling a client today on the phone, if you say to yourself, I'm going to cross the bridge every day and I'm going to throw a pebble into the river every day of my life for the rest of my life, and you do that and you start off with that, and then you get tired of it and you say, you know what, I'm going to go down there every Monday and I'm just going to pick up a handful of rocks and I'm just going to throw it into the river. You have not done the exact same thing. They're totally different. They're totally opposite of each other. You have to be consistent, because consistency will build upon consistency. Okay. So like what we're talking about, two things when we think about this. First, let's take a look and feel of the look and feel of your brand needs to be consistent. And we teach you this. Tanya taught it to me. So on every platform that you're on, you want to be consistent in your messaging and looking for that ideal customer, and in your imaging and your slogans. You want those to be the same. You don't want to put campaigns out that are different every time.
This one is no content, guys. The reason that a lot of people come into the BrandFace program is they really want to be set apart in their market as an authority or an expert. And one of the most wonderful ways to do that is to establish and publish your expertise, whether that is an ebook, a full-scale written, printed book, a video series, a podcast, you name it, however you want to do that. Content is really, really important. And in a lot of cases, all you really need is one or two really great pieces of content to be able to accomplish two things. Number one, to establish that authority and expertise. And number two, as a lead generation tool, so that you can put it out there and say, this is David Wright, for instance, from Nashville, Tennessee, on the screen here, and this is a copy of his book, The 6 Myths Behind Why Your Home Isn't Selling and Why 90% of Real Estate Professionals Can't Help You. That's pretty bold. That's pretty provocative. And it is a really good indicator that, hey, this guy is an authority in this. He's an expert. And so that accomplishes that right away. But he can also say, register to download my new ebook, and he can grab the email address or even the phone number of his contacts and then get their permission to stay in touch with them, because they have shown enough interest to opt in to David's expert content. And so now he can market to them on a more one-to-one, more personal basis and share with them things about his brand. So one of the things that we tell people a lot is, don't assume people know everything. Don't assume your customers know everything. They don't know what they don't know. And they definitely don't know what you know. So, so it's your chance to put it out there and set yourself apart from everybody else. Not everybody has expert content.
That leads us to the very next one, no call to action. It's deadly sin number 6. We see this all the time, marketing and advertising with no call to action. And that's a no-no. Let me tell you why. They could be doing everything else right. Their imagery could be correct. Their kindness could be on. They could be educating their customer. They could be engaging with their customer. Take Facebook, for instance. They could be putting themselves out there with consistency. They could have a point of differentiation. But if you don't have a call to action to your customers and clients and potential customers and clients, then you've stopped your funnel. Your funnel ends right there. You've got to be able to take them to the next step and request them to move into action and engaging with you. They're opening the door for you to explain more about how you can help them with their problem, or how you can find out what their problem is and send them in the right direction or help them with their problem. Not only do these things set you apart, it's just the beginning. You see, prospects will come up with a lot of different reasons, a million different reasons why not to use you, especially if they do not know how to use you. And it's your job to make sure that that is concise and you're asking them to do something else. It's called a call to action. It might just be calling you on the phone, but you got to include it.
Amen. Okay, the 7th and final deadly sin today is no follow through. I mean, how many times have we talked about this? So we basically got 3 phases, and when we're really breaking this down, very bird's eye view, we've got 3 phases of client interaction. We've got the drawing in phase, the attraction phase, right, where we're generating those leads, and hopefully they're the right ones. Then we've got the engagement phase, where we're really actively engaging with them, learning what they're looking for and what we can provide to them that'll make them choose us. Then we have the post-engagement phase, right? So a lot of people don't make a decision today. They may come to you, they may engage with you, they may see something that they like, but unless you stay out in front of them, they may not be making that decision today. They may be making it 6 months from now. So if you don't follow through is kind of double entendre. It might mean do what you say you're going to do in the first place, right? That's a big no-no when you don't do that. And then the follow through meaning stay out in front of them. And that's one of the reasons that we subscribe heavily to having your own signature publication, publishing that expertise, so you have the way of capturing that contact information, setting yourself apart, and then continuing to set yourself apart by being one of the only people actually that will reach out to them on a regular basis with meaningful communication. So follow through is really a lot of times the toughest part of all of this. You get everything in play, and then it's super tough. And one of the sayings that that I came up with, through an especially difficult, personal time in my life, which we all have those. And I told Michael one day, I said, there's just no way around these things. The only way around it is through it.